game, it is the game. And that voice in your head, oh yeah, it's telling you to get up. It's either building an empire or it's building excuses. Coming up today, we're ripping it apart in the morning. Gotta make sure I'm on the right camera there. Welcome to Mornings in the Lab, where we don't just break those bad habits, we break the person, you, who keeps making them. Hey, I'm Keith Bilous, and I'm your host, and if you're hunting for gentle motivation and cute little morning hacks, yeah, I invite you to unsubscribe from the channel. But if you're looking for ways to get your ass out of bed and get going today, stick around, subscribe, like, comment on the channel. And what we are here, we are all about real talk and real action. Quick warning, oh yeah. We keep it raw. We keep it R-rated, not X-rated. No, we don't drop the C word here in the lab. That's just yesterday's show. So we got those kids around. You got to put the headphones in or walk them out of the room or just introduce them to some new words in the family's vocabulary. If the F word's not part of your vocabulary, today might be the day you might want to introduce them to that word. Hey, listen, today we are diving into something that's going to make most people feel quite uncomfortable, and that is the brutal... No, we're not talking about Jon Anderson's deep cheeks. No, we're talking about the brutal truth about why your mind is sabotaging your mornings. And I know we all struggle with it. We wake up and we battle that mind going on. But here's the reality. Your morning routine isn't failing you, nation. No, it's your weak mindset. Oh, yeah, that's what it is. Here with us today, Jon Anderson over there, see Marty Fit over there. These guys don't just transform those bodies you guys have. They transform your minds. And what most people are neglecting with their alarm clock, they're all rewriting their limits. Those guys have been up for a few hours already, and Richie Rich has already run 30 miles already this morning. Producer Flynn keeping this chaos contained, and Jimmy's in the back there over in the Philippines. He's our good buddy there, controlling the buttons, making sure we don't completely melt the internet with this ridiculous sense of fun and camaraderie here in the morning. And today we've got someone who knows exactly what separates superheroes from spectators, and he's our friend Kyle Paquette. And Kyle, he just doesn't talk mental performance. No, he's architected Olympic and Paralympic champions, 6 games, multiple gold medals. And here's the real fucking deal. Kyle has seen the difference between I'll try and I'll die trying. AJ's here later on today. AJ Zeglen's going to drop in from Mindfield, breaking down visualization techniques that turn average performers into unstoppable forces. And of course, Jon and Marty are talking about in the gym, 6 techniques to torch that body fat. Yeah, exactly. But first, let's kick off with the morning loop, the next 12 minutes of unpredictable fun and humor. Remember, no month starts tomorrow. Today is the last day. Today is International Peanut Butter and Chocolate Day, otherwise known as Halloween. Go grab that bag of chocolate, go grab that bag of peanut butter, mix it up and just chow down on it, or not. Tomorrow, no day. November starts tomorrow, the day you say no to a bunch of things so you can say yes to the biggest goal that you have in your life. And hey, keep out for the league. Keep your eye out for something popping up in the feeds these days. The League of Business Athletes. We're dropping the application process has started just now. All right, let's do this, Jimmy. We're going to pivot to this camera over here, and we are going to welcome in the crew to the lab this morning. We got Marty. Pink shirt, less crunches, more crunches. The red headset. Johnny's back at the home. Looks like the home studio with the black on black with the nice gray painter hat. And Christina, of course, is rocking black and white headset. And me, I'm in black on black with, I got a new hat on today, Johnny. I thought you'd like this one. I got a little.
Oh, look at that. I couldn't see the rim until you tipped down. I see. I got you. That's sharp. That's bougie. That's bougie. Check this out. I have an optometrist in Mexico because they're far better and they're far faster. So I got another pair of my glasses turned into the ones I can read out of. See that? Look at that.
That's right, Marty. Look at that.
Whoa. Let's have a flex real quick.
But here's the deal. It's got in Versace sunglass collection, and I can't fucking see a thing without having the lenses put in. So I'm just having them all converted.
Oh, so I thought you were going to say you couldn't see anything without the Versace logo on the side of them.
That too.
Yeah, of course. Because I
love it, guys.
Oh yeah, yeah. You love
I
it?
love it.
They love
it,
the
guys.
flex. They love.
I love
the
the flex, man.
Oh,
I'm a big
And
fan of the flex.
What's that? Your generation is boomer, right? Are you guys boomer? What are y'all?
Oh, I'm X.
Wow.
Me
I
and
don't,
Oh,
know.
you're
I don't,
X. Okay.
I don't really fucking pay attention to that shit, man. I am fucking who
Wow.
I am. You can call me whatever the fuck you want. You can call me dickhead, and I'll say, listen, that's fine. Just call me dickhead over there, please. Get out of my way because I'm coming through.
There's only one Jon Anderson.
Yes.
Mhm.
Johnny's Gen X like me there. So what's going on, Mural? I see you there in the comments. Hey, I welcome you to subscribe to the channel here. Subscribe to it, like it, share it with your friends. Do whatever you got to do, but just add this channel to your repertoire. We're building the biggest, greatest morning show for men here on the planet. Hey, Johnny, I saw you driving there in Mexico with Terry. Were you on your way to the eye doctor yesterday on your old Instagram story there? Is that what you were doing? You were just so Marty, Christina, did you guys see he just cruising the fucking Jeep there? He's just flexing and just eyes forward.
I missed that one.
That was actually the Razor. That wasn't the Jeep.
Get it right, Keith.
That's so.
That's
Yeah.
it, baby.
What's a
That's
razor? What's a razor?
Yeah, what's the
Razor's like this. It's like a kind of an all-terrain vehicle, and you could drive it on the road. Down there, you can drive it on the road, but you can go on the beach. You can go anywhere. It's like a four-wheel drive deal. It's almost like when you see like races where they take these things and do crazy shit.
Like a
They're
dune
going through
buggy?
the desert. Yeah, but it's like we have that too. That's more of like a get on the road and cruise and look cool. This one is like, okay, I'm gonna fuck up some terrain.
There's nothing Jon
Oh,
doesn't have.
okay.
No,
true.
yeah.
Jon
John
has
Paul.
everything.
Dude
Yeah,
doesn't
down
eat
in
pizza
Mexico,
or
we got
drink.
everything.
And he's got a pizza oven and a tap.
Well, actually, the Mexico place doesn't have shit compared to the lake house, but we'll leave that for another day.
It's
Oh,
funny.
man.
Yeah. So Business Athlete Nation, Johnny was sending pictures to his lovely friends here, Tina, Marty, and myself, about where he's got a shack in Mexico. And he's got a nice outdoor kitchen, nice outdoor pizza oven. And the guy doesn't eat pizza or drink beer. So it's funny because he sent us a message and he's, I'm here serving this up for all the fools that eat pizza and beer. And I thought
Oh no!
fools that are eating pizza and beer. Yeah.
So you broke up, brother. Say again.
We don't know what you said, brother.
I said it looks like you're serving up their pizza and beer to all your tools out there in Mexico. I thought you said tools, not fools.
No, here's the thing. You know, that thing was already there. It was already in the plan. So I wasn't going to say, no, don't put in the pizza oven. No, don't put in the tap. It's a cool fucking setup. It's just not shit that I use. There's lots of stuff that I have that I don't use based upon the choice of my lifestyle. My friends and family use it.
It's funny, Johnny.
Gotcha.
I can relate to that. Marty, you've been to my house. So down here in my house, Marty, when I built this house, the entire lower level was a rec room, bar, an experience to go and drink and have fun and play games.
Mm-hmm.
Never used. Johnny ripped the whole thing out and put it into a gym. Now it's used for 2-3 hours a day, 4 hours a day. Kids come down here and work out instead of the kids coming here and playing video games and drinking. The kids are coming down here and working out. Good times.
And the thing is that when people come over, especially down there, they do like to have beers and whatnot. So they can have their beer. They can have Terry loves to cook these pizzas for people that come over. It's fun for her. And so I just hang out with them at the bar because you saw that bar seats 12 people. So it's all set up for entertaining.
Yes.
And that's fun. So we have people over and hang out. It's a lot of fun.
We're all waiting for our invite. We'll wait.
Come on, man.
You sent a pigeon yet with the invite?
Listen, I tell my friends and family, I don't even have to be there. If you want to go, it's meant to use. So if you guys want to go down there, even if I'm not there, I'll call the front gate, tell them you're coming and you're in.
That's it. All right. Hey, you're hanging out with Keith, Marty, John, and Christina here. Mornings in the Lab with Keith friends. We got our friend Kyle Paquette hanging out in the green room coming up in about 5 minutes or so. But before we do that, I want to talk to you guys something about, let's talk about the lies, you guys, that you feed yourself at 5 a.m.
Ooh,
Yeah.
That's good. That's good, brother.
It's like, I'll start tomorrow. Just 5 more minutes. I'm just going to take 5. I'm going to snooze for 9 minutes. I need some more sleep. You know what those really are? I'm telling you right now, you guys. You know what those really are? Those are mental surrenders in bite-sized pieces. That's there. You're just surrendering yourself to your brain. Now, I invite you to think about this. Every morning, that voice in your head is either going to build your empire or dig your grave. And here's the hard truth. You programmed that voice. You train your own mediocrity. You just do. Every time that you negotiate with your alarm clock, you look at yourself, you look over, you think about your day, and you might go, oh, I'm going to hit the snooze button. Every time you do that, you choose comfort over growth. That's exactly what you do. You're like, oh, I'm warm and cuddly in bed right now. I'm going to go back to sleep. But here's the thing, nation. The day's going to happen anyways. Like, it's going to happen. You can't not let the day happen. So you might want to invite yourself to consider whether you're going to roll over and still be comfortable or roll over and get after it. Every time you let that weak voice win, you're not getting after it. You're not just skipping a day. You're hardwiring mediocrity into your DNA. But here, let's think about this, nation. Flip the script. Every time you rise in darkness, every time you choose hard over easy, and every time you hear that soft voice to shut the fuck up, you're building something else. You're building the mind of what? Of a superhero. Yes. Jon, break this down. When someone's trapped in that loop of mental weakness, Johnny, what's the first move they need to make to detonate that pattern of mental weakness? Jon Anderson.
I got to tell you, first off, I understand this loop of excuse making. I have to fight that every day. So don't think that any of us got it covered. It's a daily management deal. But if you fall out of the loop you want to be into, that you want to be in, and you're in this negative loop of procrastinating, excuse making, you got to start off with one simple thing, and that's you got to start making small promises to yourself so that you can actually start to own the word to yourself and start small, because it's easy. And the next thing you know, when you say, I'm going to get up without the snooze, that's easier. But if you can't pull that one off, don't keep lying to yourself. Say tomorrow, say, okay, you know what? Tomorrow, maybe what I'll do is once I finally get my ass out of bed, I'm going to drink a big glass of water. Boom. There's your first win. Start small. And all you got to do is just keep adding those little wins. And pretty soon the things you're having trouble with now will be easier. But key is you got to stay on this shit. It'll slip away if you don't practice it.
Yeah. The power of those small wins. Marty, when you hear Johnny say that, you hear my little monologue there. What resonates for you, Marty?
You know what I say all the time. Small wins are big wins.
Yes.
That's my favorite. That's one of my favorite quotes. And
that's a good one.
Yeah, you got to celebrate those motherfuckers, but don't get comfortable at the same time.
Yes.
But you got to know that you're moving forward and you are making progress, and that's how you're going to get out of that rut or whatever you're trying to get out of.
What's crazy for me with this show, since I hang out with you guys every day now, Marty, it started with Nicole, and then now it started with you, then went through you, Marty, and then Johnny joined, and then Christina joined. Like when my alarm goes off at 4 o'clock, like I feel this responsibility to you three to get up. And then I feel the responsibility not only to you three, but to our audience. Because I'm like, if I'm going to get on here and encourage everybody to get out of bed, not hit the snooze button, and then do it myself, I'm feeling like a hypocrite. But more importantly, honest to God, as being on a team here, I feel like I'm letting you guys down. Even if you didn't know that I hit the snooze button, in my head mentally, I got to get up and go. It happened this morning. I was like, holy fuck, I got to get up, man, because John's looking at me. Or Marty's going to be over there wondering what the fuck I'm doing. Like, it's really weird, but it's that accountability path. So the point I'm getting at is this show, this experience, as much an accountability tool for me.
Yes.
And I hope we're doing the same thing for everybody else. I know Good Time feels that way, but it's okay. Those guys are there. I guess I should get going too. Right.
Yeah. And the thing is that we teach it, we practice it here for everybody. It makes it so much easier for us to do ourselves when we're actually practicing it, because what are we going to be, hypocrites? We're going to say this is the way we do it, and then we don't do it. Come on. You want to lose respect and credibility. That's the best way to do it right there. When you say you're going to do something, you don't do it. That person, to me, okay, you can keep talking that mess over there. Please get out of my world.
That's it.
Real quick, I just wanted to add, you got to practice what you preach.
Yes.
You know, we can't be on here preaching those things and we're not holding ourselves accountable. So
yes, brother.
Good topic for me and Jon in the future, maybe Tina and Keith.
Yeah.
Now it's trainers don't have to look like trainers. Like a trainer can be out of shape and doesn't have to look like they're in shape.
Oh,
and you already know how me and Jon feel about that. Yeah, you got to practice what you preach, though.
What is that bullshit? Like never trust a skinny chef. Sort of that idea.
Yes, that's another one.
I never heard of that. I like that.
Yes, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
I don't know if I believe it. I think there's a lot of chefs that can stay fit. It's like that kind of idea.
It's a good point, though.
All right, you guys hear that sound? There it is right there. Jimmy, let's get our crew off the stage. We got Kyle Paquette patiently waiting for us to hang out with us for Mornings in the Lab. Right now, it's the accountability check-in. And guys, I have here's where I pulled the glasses off, I think. Yep. I got some brutal fucking honesty for you guys right now. That voice in your head, yep, it's got a master's degree in bullshit. Yeah, true story. Too tired, too stressed, too busy. Yeah, superheroes, yeah, they don't negotiate with that voice. No. Do you think Spider-Man or Batman, they negotiate with that voice? No, they silence it. Look at your morning habits right now as you wake up and start your day. And maybe it's not today, maybe it's not tomorrow, maybe it's one day in the cycle of tuning into this show, but look at those habits. Not the Instagram story. No, look at that later. Look at your actual story. Are those habits building that superhero that you want to be? Fuck, are you just babysitting a dreamer? Is that what you're doing? Because if you're babysitting a dreamer, go tune somewhere else. I invite you to change the channel. I invite you to go and hang out with the rest of the Babysitters Club. Yeah, we build business athletes here in the lab. Because every morning when that alarm hits, you just heard me, you're making a choice. And that choice is either the person you are, lazy and rolling over and just enjoying the comfort of your own bed, or you're going to enjoy the choice of that person that you're becoming. A choice of the standards you actually live by, not the ones you post about. You know how our kids are. You can tell your kids everything you want, but your kids witness who you are and how you act. Roll over, get out of bed, attack the day. So I invite you to ask yourself this question. What's your choice for today? The version of you that makes excuses, the one, that one, or the version that makes history starting today? Here's the thing. The next 24 hours are coming together whether you like it or not. It's like your taxes. They come every single year. Oh, I got to pay my taxes. Fuck, man, tomorrow's coming. It's already starting. Every second I'm talking, you're working towards tomorrow. So the only question you have right now is, are you going to own this next 24 hours? Or are those next 24 hours going to own you? There you go. It's accountability check. And listen, if nothing I've said is going to get you moving right now, or Johnny has said, or Tina or Marty, you're actually tuned into the wrong show here, Mornings in the Lab. If this conversation is making you uncomfortable, good. Yeah. You know my little t-shirt slogan, true fucking story. Lean in, don't run. Walk towards this failure. You walk towards it. Subscribe, keep, or lying to yourself, your call. True story. Yep. Send this to someone who needs to hear it, because sometimes one mindset shift is all it takes to put on that cape. Put on the cape and change the entire story. All right, Jimmy, let's dial down the sound effects and bring in our friends here. Marty, Johnny, and of course, our guest, Kyle Paquette. And center stage is about to get wild because we got someone who doesn't just study champion mindsets. No way, baby. He forges them in Olympic fire. Yes, Kyle Paquette, 6 Olympic Games, multiple champions crafted, 19 years transforming self-doubt, Johnny, into self-belief. And Marty, yes, when everybody else is selling morning motivation, Kyle's in the gym doing it just like you, building the minds that stack gold medals while others, stacking excuses. Kyle, my friend, welcome to the lab.
Yeah, thanks so much. What a banger of an intro. You got me feeling pumped up here this morning.
That's it.
There we go.
Kyle's joining us from the Eastern time zone of Ottawa, Canada, right?
Yeah, that's right.
How's it going in Ottawa today?
Things are great. Halloween, man. Happy Halloween. This is a great day. It's interesting listening to some of the intros. I had that same shitty conversation with myself at 5:15 when the alarm went off. But again, you got to forge ahead. You got to get through it.
That's right. So how did you win? How did you beat that mind? So it's crazy, right? So Kyle's been to 6 Olympic Games. He teaches champions. Marty, Johnny, yet the guy still rolls over and wrestles with his mind. Common theme here, isn't there, Kyle?
Oh, absolutely. It's interesting. I think when people start to think about these Olympic and Paralympic champions, they think they're immune to that stuff. And that's not the case. They just develop a habit of making sure they're telling themselves the right things in those moments. They just develop a script, and they go to that script on a regular basis because they know if they don't have that script, that shitty inner voice is going to dominate over and over.
Yeah. So Kyle, a question we've really gotten into habit of asking every single guest on this show, and we're going to build a big storybook of these answers over time. I want to hear your morning routine from the moment the alarm clock goes off, wrestling with your brain. What is it? Are you rolling over? Are you spending a few extra minutes with the wife? Are you jumping out of bed, getting on the rebounder like Johnny? Are you, what's that first 9, 10, 12, 15, half hour? What's that first morning routine look like for Kyle Paquette?
Yeah, I think that's a really great question. I think what's really important too, though, is that everybody's routine, I think especially those who have crafted their routines in the morning have done so based on who they want to be and the version of themselves they want to bring to that day. And I think that's a really important kind of underlying sort of factor. So for me, what do? I wake up at 5:15 every morning, 5:15, 5:30. Right away, I go downstairs, I crush some water. I go outside right away. Going outside for me is such a key part. And I meet my neighbor, my buddy, one of my best friends, and we go lift together. So we lift for about an hour and 10 minutes.
Cool, man.
I come back home, and then I spend time with my wife and my kids because that's, again, such an important part of my value structure.
So hold on. I just want to digest this. So you get up, John. I know John and Marty.
John's about to go crazy.
Yes. So you get up, You go right to the water, and then you head outside, get that fresh air, and you go get your lift in. It's like,
absolutely. And it's interesting. This wasn't something that's been around for a long time, though. I remember you guys spoke earlier about this idea of being a bit of an imposter and losing respect. I remember about 10 years ago, I finally got I got a big opportunity. Got the opportunity to work with the first pro football team, and I was pumped. So I get in the room and I'm getting ready to bang this message out of the park. I'm so excited about motivation, high performance.
Yeah.
I look around, there's about 80 guys in the room, and I am the lowest performing human in that room. I'm the softest bag of milk in the room. I have the least structure in my day, and my mind is the most scattered of everyone in that room.
Interesting that you had that awareness though, Kyle. Like what? So how did you have that awareness? Were you looking around the room and you're like, the aha moment happened? But because that's what's as fascinating to me as anything, that oh fuck, man, I'm different than these folks.
That's what it was. Like first of all, they're so physically imposing, right? You get in this room and you see these guys and they're huge. They're specimens, they're animals.
Yeah.
And then when you start to hear about their routines, you're thinking like, what am I going to share that they're not already doing to some degree? And it's funny. It's so important to surround yourself with great people who can call you out and can challenge you so you don't get too comfortable. And thankfully, I had one of those buddies. He's a professional volleyball coach. He played pro for 18 years. And I remember one time I kept saying, yeah, maybe tomorrow I'm going to start lifting. Maybe tomorrow. This was about 5 years ago. And he said, it's always tomorrow. He says, what's going on here? He said, you're either going to come lift or you're not. And if you're not lifting, you're not the kind of guy that I want to hang with. And it was a harsh comment, but 5 years later, that turned everything around for me for my physical wellness anyways.
So he called you out, always tomorrow. And you're not the kind of guy. So, and you're like, yeah, but I want to hang out with you. No, I don't want to hang out with you because you just keep talking. You don't keep acting, basically.
Absolutely. I just visited him actually just in the south of France. And the first thing he says is, how's the lifting going? I said, great. And he looks at me, he says, oh, you're still a little bit soft, but that's okay. And it's tough love. When some people, it's funny, I share that story sometimes that people are like, I don't know if I want to hang out with guys like that or people like that. It's maybe then you don't want to be people like that. Maybe you don't want to actually push yourself and try to see what's possible in your life.
And that's it, brother. I mean, when he's basically giving you a push, he recognizes what your potential is. He just wants to get you to start taking a hold of it. And when it comes down to it, when we're trying to get somewhere, the idea of having the same like-minded people around us makes such a huge difference as your buddy was just making sure that you meant to be in his circle.
Yeah, absolutely. And we hear this all, I'm sure we've all heard this, right? Where you are the average of the five people you spend the most time with. But there's so much science to support that. And it's all based on our ability to adapt and evolve. Like our superpower as a species is we adapt to the environments we're in. Now, we often think of adaptation from like a physical perspective, but our biggest source of adaptation right now in 2024 is social adaptation. We take on the habits and the behaviors and the perspectives and the values of the people we hang out with. And if we don't like what we're seeing around us, that stuff is coming into us, whether we like it or not.
Yeah. What are we listening to? What are we watching? What are we consuming? That stuff is programming our subconscious, whether we like it or not. That's why it's so important. Like your buddy leaned on you is, look, I know this guy needs to be in my circle, but I need him to step it up because when he steps it up, it steps me up.
Absolutely.
The power of accountability partner, right?
Oh my God. That's such a big part of it, right? No matter what you want to do, people talk about motivation. How do you stay motivated? How do you find it in these moments? And sure, you can talk to yourself till you're blue in the face. But at the end of the day, when you have somebody who you're, again, what you said earlier, Keith, you said, I woke up this morning and I feel like I got to get my ass out of bed because if not, I'm letting my team down.
Because I know they're going. Because I know Marty's up already. And I'm like, fuck, what am I? How can I not get going when I know he's already going? And I know Jon's already going. And Jon's actually 2 hours time behind me. So I'm like, I need to get going because it's a subliminal accountability partner, Kyle.
And I think if we peel back one of the layers, what's such an important sort of first step to that is when you actually surround yourself with people that matter to you and that you care about and that play such an important role in your life.
Yes.
It means so much more to be accountable to those people because of just the role they play. If you hang around with a bunch of assholes who don't matter much to you, really, right? If you a bunch of friends who are part-time friends who don't actually matter much in your life and you don't really connect with family that much, you don't really need to be accountable to anybody because at the end of the day, they're not that accountable to you and they're not going to really give a shit.
Yeah.
It's interesting to hear you say that because I was at my son's hockey last night with my wife and I was talking about Johnny and Marty and Christina because I have a lot of affection for them. But to hear you say that, Kyle, it's like talking about them last night just as my friends. It subliminally, as I'm getting up this morning going, I can't let them down. So it just mimics what you're saying is that when I'm thinking and talking about them from here in my heart, this just doesn't become like a job. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And then I think, again, one of the strategies that I see so many elite performers make use of is this idea of actively being grateful for those people in their life. So not taking them for granted, but on a daily basis, either reminding themselves, or whether it's journaling, or even just picking up the phone or sending a message to one of these people in their life and saying, you matter a lot to me. I really appreciate you in my life.
Yes.
My life is better because of you.
Yes.
Well, you know, on that level, I'm 52 and I've been going at since I was my late teens, I've just been viciously going after what I want. And during that time, man, I have burned through a lot of people who seemed like they were the fit. And at 52, when it comes down to it, I want to say probably, let's just call it not quite 10, but somewhere between 5 and 10 years ago, I realized, you know what? I am going to be my own accountability partner because these people are coming and going. I'm not investing more time on these fuckers that I'm going to burn up. I know they can run me for a period of time, but then once they lose their win, they fold up and they disappear for a couple of months. That doesn't work in my world. So it's me and me.
Yes. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, John. I see that a lot in experienced performers, right? They get to this level where they start to realize that if this is actually going to be sustainable, if I'm going to be able to do this in an unconditional manner, I need to make sure that I think about the conditions that are most likely to derail me and take that on myself, become my own sort of CEO of my journey.
If I had $1 for every time I burned up someone that was trying to run with me, I would be a wealthy man because everybody can come out of the gate strong.
Yes.
You know, but the question is, look, you're going to start choking. You're not going to have any wind. This is where it matters. And I've been doing this long enough. I can operate breathing hard. I can operate without much wind. And that's what makes me. But if you can't do it, don't think you're going to drop out and come back in 3 months. Once you drop out, that's it. This is a one-shot deal.
And not to sound too self-serving, Johnny, but I think that's what maybe has come out of the magic of what's happening here in the morning when people go, how long have you guys known each other? Well, just a few months. Wow, the chemistry you guys have. Because John, Marty, myself, team, we're all just breathing the same air. Like we are. And we're keeping up with each other, holding yourselves accountable, et cetera, et cetera. But before we get to the C Marty Fit Tip, one quick question go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say one thing I want to make sure that I'm also saying in this journey of mine is that I am happy to mentor youngsters that are coming up. I don't need you to do what I do. I just need you to show up.
Yes.
And if you show up when you need to, I don't give a damn how, as long as you show up and you're doing the best you can, that's all that's required. So it's not like I put some massive requirement on someone that's going to come into my world. But if you can't show up when it hurts, that's part of the requirement. So you got one shot. That's it.
It's true. Hey, so before we go to the fit tip here with Marty, Jimmy, and Kyle, I got a question for you, Kyle. 19 years studying performance. What's the biggest myth about morning mindset you've had to debunk with your athletes?
About morning mindset. Yeah, I think the biggest myth that I hear a lot of times is people think that these gold medalists are special or they're different from us. And they're not. They're really
you don't put their pants on the same way we do?
Oh man, like it's funny. I went to my first Olympic Games in 2014 in Sochi, and I remember I'm pretty young and first time there, and I'm seeing all these high performers for the first time. And what struck me is that success is uncommon. Like these people, these are uncommon humans because they have developed habits and routines that are uncommon. That's what's different about them. It's the routines and the habits they've developed. It's not that they're born with a specific set of attributes. Now, don't get me wrong. So many of these elite performers, they have surrounded themselves either by chance or very deliberately with great people who have supported these great sort of confident beliefs and these sort of this motivational pattern in them. But for the most part, they're doing this because they are really good at engaging in the mundane in a consistent manner. The stuff that is so boring for most people, they find ways to lean into that shit because they know that it's the boring stuff over time that's going to separate them from everybody else.
Don't look at the gold medal. Look at the habits that created the gold medal.
That's it.
Everybody's focused on, oh my God, look what he's got. What he got only came from the shit that he does every day, the shit that you won't do. So stop looking at what you really should want is the habits that got that. Stop looking at the wrong stuff.
And here's a good habit every single day at 8:30 Eastern time. We got this veteran of the gym, Christopher Martin, C Marty Fit with the fit tip. Gentlemen, to give you guys something to get through your day and get it rocking and rolling. C Marty, let's get it, buddy.
Let's get it. All right, we got a little bit different fitness tip today. It's for those of you that you might be a little bit older, you might be suffering some injuries, or you might not feel comfortable doing some of the things me and Johnny talk about on here every day. So if you're looking to burn calories without putting strain on your joints, I got some low impact cardio for you for all fitness levels, all right? We're going to start with stationary bike. This is going to build your leg strength, and it's going to put zero impact on your knees. You can burn a shit ton of calories. You can do it often. This is a great option for you. I know a lot of older men specifically who love getting on their bikes. They do the stationary bike and they do the cycling outside as well. Another one, swimming. Full body workout, gentle on the body, intense burn. You could burn a lot of calories here, and you work in every muscle in your body. Probably won't get any better low impact cardio than swimming. And another one, underrated, the most underrated form of cardio, brisk walking. All right, consistent pace, easy on the knees, and this is going to boost your endurance. And remember, when you are walking, it's okay to speed it up a little bit, put the incline up a little bit. You can make a walk difficult. It doesn't just have to be easy. We are doing it for the cardiovascular benefit. We're doing it to get better. We're doing it to burn calories. So don't be scared to make it a little bit challenging. So remember, consistency, all right, that is the key. Low impact cardio is going to bring high impact results, and you got to make it part of your routine if you want these results. So short, simple, sweet, and this is for all fitness levels. That's the fitness tip for today.
See Marty Fit. Hey, bottom line. Hey, Chris, just go for a walk, buddy. Just go for a walk.
Just go for a walk, man.
Just go for a walk. Just go for a walk. And you know what? You're going to sit back and you say to yourself, I don't got 10 minutes today. I got 20 minutes. Listen, you're going to fuck around and waste 10 minutes of your day. You are.
Oh, for sure.
Right? So just find those 10 minutes and start walking. Even if you walk around your house, just go walk. Just the magic of that is powerful stuff there. All right, let's keep the conversation going. We got Kyle Paquette here as we move into the deep dive segment. Let's go deeper. Kyle, when you first meet a new athlete, you have to train for the Paralympics or the Olympic Games. Kyle, what's the very first thing that you do with them to assess where they're at mindset wise? We talk often about physical strength, emotional strength, but let's really lean into your assessment of where they're at from the mental mindset. Kyle Paquette.
Yeah, it all starts with the goal. It really does. Like the first thing that it's funny, people come see me say, oh, the goal is to win an Olympic gold or a Paralympic gold medal. That's awesome. Great. But why is that? Like really digging into this. And you'd be surprised with some of the reasons that you hear from people. And I think oftentimes what happens is we get into these places, not just athletes, but everyone, we have these goals that get filtered into us through the media, through our society. We all think that we want to be making millions of dollars. So we start to pursue these actions that are going to help us make these millions of dollars. Then all of a sudden one day we wake up and we're feeling shitty about ourselves. And we're thinking, what's going on? I'm actually making more money than ever. Yeah, but I'm being a shitty husband. I'm being a shitty father. I'm not spending enough time with my friends. Sure, I'm pursuing this one goal, but this goal must not be as meaningful as the ones that I'm neglecting in the moment. So when you can actually start by sitting down with somebody and saying, why are you actually doing this? Because the one thing I've learned is the worst thing I can do is help somebody achieve the wrong goal, or the goal that's actually not going to create the feeling inside them that they thought it was 2, 3, 4 years ago when we actually first met. So that's a big one. That's a really big one. And most people don't have clarity on that. Most people, again, it's these kind of superficial reasons. Like, why do you want to win? I think it'll be cool. I'll be popular. What do you think popularity will bring to you? Maybe it might bring more money. It might bring a little bit more fame. But what do you think that's going to bring for you? Maybe that might bring me a little bit more security and stability so I can maybe raise and support my family. But why is that important for you? Because it's really important for me to be a really great husband and a really great father, because that's like my number one value in life. Okay, great. So you're going to now push aside your family for maybe 4 to 8 years in pursuit of this goal that might not happen just so that you can be a better father and husband? Let's actually take time to dig into this a little bit, because maybe there's a better way to go about achieving that goal. So this idea of really getting them to understand the why, what their motivations are, that takes time. It takes a lot of conversation, but when you get there, it's usually the first big kind of aha self-awareness piece for most athletes.
What's funny, Kyle, is that when we ask somebody those questions and we always lean into all the good things that might happen. Oh, you might make a bunch of money. You might be able to go buy a big new house. You might be able to buy some cars. But nobody ever talks about how you might feel empty, how you might wonder whether your friends like you anymore because you're now in a different wage class. Some might wonder whether you're where your purpose. Nobody ever, because I've been through all of that. Nobody ever talks about the shitty side of, oh, so now you made it? Yeah, but I'm fucking feeling empty like a motherfucker, and I'm lost, and I don't know. So I hear what you're saying, because nobody ever talks about what also could happen on the negative side.
Yeah, I think why that is because we often have this snapshot of what it's going to look like when we achieve the goal. But one of the things that I help athletes to do is I help them to develop the film, the reel of what the actual, what it's going to look like. What's your average day-to-day going to look like? Like right now I'm working with a young golfer. This guy's down in the NCAA and he's playing some really good golf. His goal is to be a tour player. Awesome. I asked him, so what is that day-to-day going to look like? Wow, it's going to be me playing on tour on TV and having lots of fans and awesome. I said, so how many shitty days a month do you think you're going to have as a pro golfer?
That's an uncomfortable question.
Yeah, like
honestly, because more than not, probably actually, right?
That's it. Tour average, you're winning 1% of your starts. So that means 99% of your starts you're not winning, and probably half of those you're getting kicked in the ass, and you feel like you want to give up. You're questioning your worth. You're questioning your confidence. You feel like shit. You're running out of money. You need to borrow more money from family. You're on the road. You're traveling away from people, your loved ones, your girlfriend. That's what you're signing up for. That is what you're signing up for. You may as well make sure you know it right now, because if you don't know it, you're going to arrive there, like you said, and you're going to feel like you just wasted the last decade of your life.
It's interesting, Kyle, because John's been on that journey. And so Jon has been a professional wrestler, professional strongman, professional bodybuilder. And I'm thinking, Jon, you've had to have those discussions with your own head and Terry, or at the time going, okay, I'm leaving for a number of days, weeks, months. I'm not saying you, the girls, the kids. And you must have gone through moments, Jon, in that period, like Kyle has said, going, what the fuck am I doing?
Here's the thing, and we talk about this all the time, and Kyle kind of alluded to it already, is that when you make a choice to do something like this, you got to get really fucking in tune with saying no to a lot of shit, to get a lot of shit out of your life so that you could create the time for the shit that's important to you. I didn't have a social life. I didn't do things that most people do. What I did was I worked on my goal and I focused on my girls. And when I say my girls, that's basically Terry and the three girls. And it was like my time that was available was for them. That was it. So when you clear out all that, you'd be really surprised. You clear out a lot of space in your life if you really have the balls to say no. And when you get good at saying no, just like we would say, you're saying yes to what you want. And it's a choice that someone has to make. If going out drinking with your buddies is that important to you, then don't do this.
Oh yeah, Jon, I just got to jump in. I just love what you're saying, because the reason why most people don't do the things they want to do is because they don't realize that they are constantly trying to navigate competing goals. Like even right now in this moment, right? There's so many goals that are competing in this moment. I want to be doing this with you guys. I also want to be doing work that I probably need to be doing. I also want to be spending time with my wife downstairs. I also want to be maybe going for a walk and getting some. There are so many goals right now that are competing. So you have to realize what goals are in front of you. And then you do have to say yes to one. But by saying yes to one, like Jon has said, you have to acknowledge that you're saying no to those others. Because if you don't acknowledge that after a month or a year or a few years, you're going to realize that you're in this place where you inadvertently have bypassed these really potentially important things in your life.
Yeah. And on that level, one of the things that's really hard, and I've seen lots of people that have really had a hard time with this, is that you, in the beginning, you got to start telling your buddies no. Hey, you want to go drinking? No. Hey, you want to do this? Because that's the life you're leading. Especially when you're young, you're having fun with your boys. And then all of a sudden you say no enough, they stop inviting you to do shit. And no, they still like you. They just know that you say no. And you got to get past that. Because I've seen a lot of dudes where it's like, oh my God, my friends don't like me anymore. No, they do. They're just realizing that when they knock on the door, you don't answer. This is what you picked. So shut up, stop feeling sorry for yourself. Realize this is what you wanted. And you can still connect with them. Just do it differently than you did before.
Marty, I wanted to add that literally just happened to me right before we got on the show. You know, I saw one of my friends at the gym, and they were like, "Are you going to the such and such Halloween party on Friday?" I was like, "No." They were like, "They didn't tell you about it?" I was like, "No,
nope."
They don't even invite me to that stuff anymore.
That's
you know,
it.
They don't even invite me, so they know I'm not coming.
That's perfect. You know,
yeah, I give them about one, maybe two a year, but that's about it.
But I find it interesting though, because Marty's the younger one in the group here. So Marty's 31 here. And there's those peer social pressures though, Marty, that follow I remember in my 20s in college trying to be dragged, and I went to the clubs and the bars, but deep down I'm like, no, but I want to go to the gym. No, I want to go to bed so I can get up in the morning. And I struggled with that. What I really wanted to do, Marty, that's why I say to you, man, like I applaud your courage as the young man. I wish I had your courage at 31 to do some of the things you're saying no to, because I couldn't. I didn't have that wherewithal at that point. Kyle, I see you nodding there.
Oh my God, yeah. Like I think one of the things that people just don't fully understand is that social evaluation piece.
Yeah.
That is the number one source of stress and anxiety right now in society for everyone. And this is also for athletes. When you break down why they're feeling so anxious, because we are hardwired to care about what people think about us. It goes back tens of thousands of years. Like if we were in a small little tribe, and if we pissed off our tribe and we got exiled, we would likely die. We couldn't survive. We have developed this gene. We have developed this mechanism to play nice with the people around us because we feel like it's such an important part of our success. And in fairness, it is. None of us are going to succeed on our own. We need to make sure that the people around us, to some degree, appreciate what we're doing and want us in their lives. So this is a huge source of stress. Now, there's certain things that trigger this, right? There's certain things that make this more prominent. When you think about young athletes, 16, 17, 18-year-old males, females, who are constantly on social media, right, engaging with people who they don't even know, this shit is going to amplify that social evaluation. Yeah. When they get to that moment that matters most to them, all of a sudden now they're going to be thinking about the tens of thousands of people who are following them, who they have to report back to in the morning, regardless of how they perform.
Kyle, you're dropping nuggets. Go ahead, Marty.
Hey, John.
Yo.
How much better is life when you don't care what people think about you?
Oh, it's freedom.
It's freedom.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
But you want one of my sayings, Marty?
I thought you had something for me, man. I'm trying to set you up.
100% throw some of my shit, use some of it, but how's this one? First they watch you, then they hate you, then they imitate you. If they're
like
talking smack, you're on the right track. You just the list goes on, baby. But when it comes down to it, when you stop caring, other than the people you love, you got to care about what they think. Outside of that, not caring about what most people think about you is freedom.
I agree.
What a great conversation we're having here. Kyle Paquette, Jon Anderson, C. Marty Fit, and Mr. Boston. I see you in the comments here. Thanks for tuning into the channel there. And I love your comment. Try sailing on the ocean. It becomes clear. Isn't that true? Hey, Paquette, man, listen, we're on last name terms already because I'm a hockey guy. Just like the last name shit, right? Paquette, you got to come back. Dude,
I love to. Yeah, this is
absolutely
awesome.
You are dropping bombs, and I can't believe that our time is already up because we got the mental dude Minefield, AJ Zeglen, hanging out in the green room waiting for us. Marty?
I was going to say, Kyle, you mentioned the water as soon as you wake up. We talk about that all the time on here. That's what me and John do as soon as we wake up. So when you said that, like you're really speaking our language. So that was great.
I felt like we were separated at birth or something, brother.
True. So Kyle, before you go, brother, because I absolutely want to have you back. Flynn, we got to get Kyle onto a regular rotation here. I think we can have a lot of fun with Kyle on the way because you're dropping nuggets left and right, Kyle. How can folks find you? How can they get a hold of you? How can they connect with you? Where can Business Athlete Nation connect with Kyle Paquette?
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one. It's funny. I'd love to say, here's all my social handles, but the truth is I practice what I preach, right? So I try to stay disconnected from that stuff because I try to stay focused on what matters most to me.
Love it.
Yeah. What I say is if people want to connect with me, they can find me online, do a quick little Google search. You'll come up with some of my contacts. And if not, Keith, you have my contact. I'm happy to share that stuff with whoever wants to connect.
Awesome. Kyle Paquette, Olympic coach, Olympic mind coach. Guy's done a lot of great things. Kyle, I'm very grateful for you hanging out with us this morning. You come back and see us again, okay?
Yeah, I love it. I'm grateful too. Thanks so much, guys.
Awesome.
Thank you, Kyle.
And Marty, Johnny, Jory Jansen, the GOAT, introduced us to Kyle. So I'm telling you, Jory's not even here, and she's still dropping nuggets for us.
That's
it. Man, that's the GOAT for real, man.
It's true. Speaking of GOAT, Marty, listen.
It's time for you to get the hell out of here. You two get off my stage. What are you doing? Get out of here. All right, check this out. This is a massive life hack, and most people are making this mistake and they don't even know they're doing it. So you got to remember this. Our biggest goals, our biggest blessings, our biggest wins, they are all hiding in the darkness. They're all hiding in those difficult spots. They're all hiding in those places where we feel uncomfortable. So most people, they run from it. And if they do actually get caught by the darkness and they're somehow in this really uncomfortable place, they leave, they run before the blessings and the wins actually have a chance to arrive. So here's the message: stop running from it and start running to it. What am I talking about? I'm talking about difficulty. I'm talking about uncomfortable situations. I'm talking about the dark places in your life, because those dark places in your life are going to yield the biggest, best gains for you. And gains is whatever it is you're trying to achieve. So the message is simple: stop running from it and start running to it. When I discovered this, it completely transformed my life in all areas of my life. And mostly my relationship got so much better when I started to realize that getting through these challenging points was going to give me a better version of not only me, but my relationship, the depth, the love, the respect, all that stuff. So again, don't make the mistake like most people make. Stop running from it and start running to it.
Yes, I love that. Anderson, good message today, man. Holy smokers. That's you or something going on there.
Come on, baby.
There you go. There you go. Hey, we got the Mindfield guy, AJ Zeglen, joining us here this morning. I got some tunes walking him in the door. And before we get into the visualization segment, I know Marty, I know John, I know myself. Last time AJ was here, he exited the show. He was on his way towards Legs Day. And I know
that's it. Gonna work on making those deep cheeks one rep at a time. I was gonna ask Jay, how did that go, brother? Did you get a little deeper? Did you get some deep? Did you get them deeper?
We want to know the question, Zeglen.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I added some depth to those cheeks that day.
Nice.
There was some high emphasis on some glute dominant movements in the gym there on that leg day. So it was helping the cause.
It was helping the cause. AJ Zeglen, Mind Fuel expert here, hanging out with us this morning, talking deep cheeks. And most importantly, we're talking visualization today. And AJ, let's get right into it, man. We got businessmen, we got athletes, we got business athletes watching who want to level up their mental game. Our show, morning show, getting up, battling that mindset, that idea of, oh, do I want to get on with my day? Do I want to hit the snooze button? Oh, I got so many things to do today. I don't know how I can get through my day. Oh man, it's Halloween today. There's a box of chocolate over there. I don't know what the hell to do. So AJ, give us an overview of visualization, and not the woo stuff. No, not that woo stuff, but the real techniques and science that create the real results for the men listening right now. Zeglen.
Yeah. So I guess in simplest terms, visualization is actually a couple ways it works. One is it can help to lower our stress, right? When we talk about living in the future all the time, we talk about that anxiety, that nervousness, right? And we talk about being mindful and living in the present. So when we're able to take ourselves there to a future outcome that we want to achieve, to a place that we haven't been yet, and we visualize ourselves there being successful and we make it very real, it can lower the overall stress of that situation. It can reduce our anxiety when we're thinking about that situation on what we're trying to achieve, whatever. The key in there is making it real. If there's one visualization tip that I could give to people, it's make it as real as possible. So engage all your senses. So what are you seeing? What are you hearing? What are you smelling? What can you feel in your hands? What can you, right? It has to be real for us to get the benefit of it, right?
It's powerful.
It's different than dreaming, right? It's not like I'm just going to sit here and close my eyes and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm now the richest man in the world and I'm blah, 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 and all this stuff, right? I don't have any like context on that to make it real enough for myself. But if I'm thinking, hey, I'm an athlete, I want to perform well at this game that I have coming up tonight, I have a lot of experience in that arena. I know what my dressing room looks like. I know the smells in my dressing room. I know how I prepare. I know what my skates are going to sound like when I step on the ice. We need that context. We need that ability to make it real and believable for us to really gain an advantage from it.
I just got to jump. It's so good, brother. So good. Because it's like our brains, our minds don't really understand the difference between if it's actually physically acted out or if you're just mentally living it out. So for like me, with my challenges and disability in terms of dyslexia and all the shit that I went through as a kid, I realized that I'm not good at the first time I do something. So I'm going to mentally act that out as many times as I need to, where I'm going to know that I can do that, because I can feel if I'm acting out in my head and I'm getting all fucking twitchy, that means my brain is dumping cortisol. I got to keep doing, okay, let's do it again. And I'll live through that as many times as I need to, where I can get into that situation and I've got a calm about me. That's one of the things that I really taught myself. I could be in one of the 40 seconds before I walk out, say in the Tokyo Dome with 50,000 people. I've got myself like crazy calm. It's, whoa, okay, I'm in my space because I've gone through that so many times. And for people that don't understand that, just realize your brain does not know the difference between you doing what AJ said. Is you've got to make sure the detail is there. You create the reality through the detail, and you can act that out as many times as you need to feel comfortable. So when you do it physically the first time, your brains knows exactly what to do.
Marty.
I'm right there with you. Sorry, I'm gonna be honest. I was looking at Tina's message with the in the gym segment. I don't know any of this stuff. I'm sorry. So I was looking the stuff up. I was not paying attention.
So Marty, so it's going to put you on the spot though, brother. I
love the honesty there, brother. Love that honesty.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I love that, because let's go back with AJ and what he's talking about, visualization. Successful D1 athlete. And you've talked about your struggles on the bench, talked about playing a role player. You've talked about your journey as an athlete. Talk about how visualization was part of your journey to being a successful athlete.
It's got to be part of your journey. Nobody gets to success without seeing it first or without believing it first. And visualization is part of that. So you got to have a specific goal, right? So if let's say my issue is I want to get off of the bench. So what am I going to do? Am I going to play defense? Am I going to focus on hitting shots? Am I going to take the most charges? Those are things I had to focus on. I had to see myself doing that. And I had to watch the other team's patterns. I had to watch, all right, which player is going to put his shoulder down and run me over so I can get a charge, so I can create some momentum for the team. But visualization is the same in business. It's the same with your family, with anything. You got to have a concrete goal before you make it happen.
AJ, I like how you talked about all the senses, because I use visualization in business, and I've talked about it with Christina and my colleagues in the past. In business, I like to, and I find, especially as we age, AJ, we've talked about this before, and Johnny, when we age, we can start feeling time. Like, I know what September feels like when the kids go back to school. I know what hockey season feels like. I know what spring, when June feels like. And it's easy to start, quote unquote, feeling time. I love doing sessions with my team going, okay, it's actually already January 1st, 2025. What have we accomplished? Instead of what are we going to accomplish? And I find that simple mindset, AJ, of acting like it's already happened, that visualization technique, instead of how I'm going to make it happen, is very helpful for me. Can you lean into that for a second, AJ?
Yeah, it's exactly what all you guys have been saying, right? Our brain doesn't know the difference. Our mind doesn't know the difference if we've actually physically been there or if we've just thought about being there, right? Even once we've been somewhere, our only recollection of ever being there and experiencing it is just our thoughts in our mind, right? And our memories and our connections to the senses and what we were seeing and thinking and feeling and hearing and touching and stuff in all those moments, right? So we can create that, and we want to practice that, right, on a daily basis. This is what we're talking about here is a learned skill. So anything that's a skill gets better when we get reps and reps and reps, right? Yes. So if I only waited until the biggest game of the year to practice visualization, how am I going to get good at it? Like, there's only one game of the year that's the biggest game of the year, right? So I'm getting to practice once a year. I need the opportunity to practice this stuff on a daily basis. So your visualizations don't have to be some crazy grand thing. To go to what Marty was saying there, it's not, we're not dreaming, right? He was visualizing the next step. You're seeing the next step, right? So there's a process to that. He wasn't talking about all of a sudden he's getting carried off the floor winning an NBA championship.
Hey, Marty, is AJ breaking up?
No, I think you're messing up, Keith.
Yeah, we got it perfect. Yeah, we got AJ. We got you perfect.
So see, Marty wasn't saying, hey, I'm visualizing myself going off the floor as an NBA champion, he was like, what do I got to do to get off the bench? Like, how do I hit that next shot? How do I take that next? When you're visualizing like that, like you're just seeing the next step. We don't want to skip a million steps and we're just dreaming about some far off thing that seems so unrealistic that we can't even truly believe that we've been there, that we can do it. But if you're on the bench and you're visualizing yourself getting on the floor and just hitting that next shot, that's a very reasonable, practical next step. And that's an important piece about it too. We're just visualizing the next step.
That's really good, brother. That's really good because I never even recognize that. When I do this, I am always literally visualize, like I visualize my day. Literally, I close my eyes and I just know, okay, I'm doing this, then I'm doing this. And the challenging parts, I'm going to go into the detail. And so every day, and I never quite realized what you said, which I never really am visualizing something that's much outside of today.
Right.
Go ahead, Marty.
I wanted to add something to what AJ said, because I never thought about that, about the visualization. That's like, you said something like that's close to getting an actual rep. And I noticed that like when I have a goal that I'm focused on and I'm like something I really want to get done really bad, when I get there, like I'm not even surprised or I'm not excited because it's like I felt like I did it already, even though I wasn't there yet. So that kind of lines up right with what you're saying. I never thought about it like that.
And in that daily practice, you know, what Jon was just saying there, that's exactly it. I'll work with groups of people and I think they're surprised because I'll tell them like, hey, here's how you practice it. Make it a learned skill. You're going to get up in the morning, get your feet on the floor as fast as possible. So let's say you're even sitting up in bed, feet on the floor, and then visualize yourself. You could think that you have nothing important going on that day. That's okay. See it anyway. So I'm going to the grocery store. I'm walking in the grocery store. I'm going to visualize. I got my list. I'm going to hold the door open for the people behind me, and everyone that I meet there, I'm going to give them a nice smile and say hello. I'm going to find all my stuff. When I get to the checkout, I'm going to have this be super friendly to the person checking out my groceries. So, you know, I just see myself being successful, finding all the stuff I need. Everyone that crosses my path that day, I'm going to provide a positive experience. They're going to be like, wow, I crossed that gentleman's path today. He was so polite. He was so friendly. And it doesn't seem like a big deal, but again, we're just getting reps. We're practicing that skill. And the better we get at seeing that and bringing the reality to it with all our senses and detail to it, then when we need it in the big moments and the big things come up, that skill is going to be more deeply ingrained. It's going to be a sharper skill that we have to utilize in those big moments, right? But we could practice it, like Jon was just saying, on a daily basis with things that are even, we might think are really small. Like, why do I need to visualize to get up and go to school today? That's okay. Do it anyway. Or why do I got to visualize to go to my job that I've been doing every day for the last 15 years? I know what I'm doing. That's okay. Do it anyway. Just practice, right?
On that level, brother, what I remind myself is sometimes it's doing the stuff I might do. I really need to visualize my workout. Do I really need to visualize this meeting? Blah, blah, blah. I'm basically creating a roadmap for my body to execute because mentally I know what I got to do, but physically am I going to get it done? Once I've created that mental roadmap, all my body's got to do is follow the recipe.
It's interesting, Johnny, to hear you say that because as I'm listening to you guys speak and I'm really paying attention to AJ right now, I think I maybe come to the terms. I think visualization has been part of the secret to my success. I do it every single day. I love it. And because to me, visualization is routine. As I'm listening to you talk, AJ, I really believe it's actually been a big part of my success because every single day when I wake up, I feel like I talk with Tina about it. It's like being like a visionary, but I feel like I can see tomorrow. I feel like I can see how Saturday is going to feel. Like I literally feel that in my body. Yeah. And I'm just listening to you talk. I'm creating that awareness around it. It's a great, fascinating conversation, which I know we can continue with here. Johnny, before we wrap up.
Yeah, I just got to say that you're so correct. A lot of times, most successful people visualize they know it or not. Just for a tip for people here, one of the things that I do in my visualization is at night is I visualize the stuff I'm going to do tomorrow. So I'm excited to do it. It makes it easier to get up at 3 o'clock. It makes it easier to do the hard things because I visualized it. I'm excited to do it. And when you want to do something, and you can create a lot of positive associations with your visualization. So it's something that you want to do. So you can make visualization something that really is like obviously let's say it's a roadmap, but it also creates the feeling of a want because you've done it in a positive way. Man, I can't wait to do this. I know that once I get done with XYZ, that's going to feel so good. And I can't wait for that feeling. And you can prime yourself to where you want to do tomorrow, which makes it easier to do a lot of the shit that we talk about on the show.
And you can bring visualization into your house, right? It's often when I'm got to go for a run, I'm like, ah, fuck, I hate having to go for a run. But then I know how I'm going to feel when I get into the shower. I start thinking about that, which makes me enjoy the run. Or if I know I'm going to go make my wife live a year longer, I'm like, okay, I know how that's going to feel. So I'm going to go get after it. So
brother, I visualize that all the time.
Me too. I know. I'm like, okay, I'm thinking about like 9 o'clock tonight. I just visualize. And okay, if I can get to 9 o'clock, my wife can live a little longer.
Zeglen, guys.
Hey, Johnny, AJ, we're teaching Marty something every day, man. Marty's gonna have the best when Marty's a wife. She's gonna be the best wife ever because Marty's gonna know all the secrets.
Yeah. I know I don't have a wife yet, but I still do some visualization for nighttime too.
I love it. AJ Zeglen, Mind Fuel, every single Tuesday and Thursday, having really great conversations around how to move your mind forward, how to adapt a mindset as a business athlete. AJ, in a minute or less, as we wrap this up, give Nation something to hang on to around visualization today. Great topic today, AJ Zeglen.
Yeah, so just put it to practice.
Yeah.
Just start, right? There's no perfect way to do it. Don't worry about doing it wrong. Just start, okay? And start with even the smallest thing and make it as real as possible. You're familiar with your 5 senses. Make sure in that short visualization that you engage every single one of them.
Yes. Let's talk more visualization in the future because I think it's a topic easily taken for granted, but so powerful because visualization equals routine. Routine equals visualization. Routine, visualization equals success. It's really as simple as that.
I can tell you, Keith, from knowing you for so long now and witness to a whole bunch of stuff that you've accomplished, you use it all the time, even maybe sometimes unconsciously. But
yes.
I guarantee that when you were getting ready to climb Kilimanjaro, you had already climbed it 100 different times before you actually got there. You know what I mean? I could tell by the conversations we had, the way you approached it every day in the gym, the way you set up your structure on how far you were going to walk and what you were going to be wearing and what
I was wearing boots during my practice.
Totally. Like you made it as real as possible anytime that you could. And yeah, I've witnessed you use visualization for your success numerous times. I know you're actually really great at it.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it. Hey, guys, Nation, AJ Zeglen changed my life and he can change yours. Connect with them on LinkedIn, connect with them on Instagram, and connect with them every Tuesday and Thursday here in the lab. But we got the coach coming up here. AJ,
coach.
AJ, can you hang around for Reloaded? You got to rock and roll, buddy.
AJ got to go.
I'm in the gym again today, man. I got to get back in there.
You go get it, brother. We appreciate you. We'll see you later.
Thank you, AJ.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it, AJ.
All right, let's get the coach up here. We're running behind. I know she's been visualizing this segment.
Been visualizing the segment. Get the fuck off my stage, y'all.
Come on.
Get the fuck off my stage. You've had your time. Come on. All right, so I want to talk about why we choose this work and why I chose this really hard path. So the other day, my sister called. She was exhausted. She's got a 3-year-old and a 6-month-old at home, and she was just dealing with one of those days. I had a ton to do, but something clicked. Not one thing that I do today in my business is going to change the business tomorrow. So I went. I spent a few hours. I played with my nieces. I did her laundry. We watched Bluey, one of my favorites. And while I was there, I got to watch her stress slowly dim its light and dim its impact on her. This is why I fight for my atypical career. This is why so many of you fight for it. It's not about the money. It's not about the status. It's not about figuring it all out. It's about the freedom to live life on our terms, to be there when it matters, the freedom to drop everything when somebody needs us, to deliver soup to a sick friend, help a family on a hard day, or just being present with the people that you love. That's why we hustle. That's why we push. And that's why we go day in and day out through the struggle. That's why we don't give up when it's hard. So next time you're grinding, remember, you're not just building a business or a brand, you're building a life that aligns with what really matters to you. Yes, it is that simple. I have entered my no fucks era, and I promise you, if you take today's brand bite into account, you will be one step closer to entering yours. You got this.
Every day here, dropping vulnerable content daily. I love it. John, Marty, we learn something new about Christina every single day with this segment. And I love that you lean into the quality of life thing, Christina, because everybody's always just chasing things that it's big money, big rewards, yet nobody talks about quality of life and the power of quality of life. And then you take quality of life and move that with artificial urgency, Christina, and you can have a real great life if you can put both those in context, eh?
And I think so many of us look at entrepreneurship because it's been ingrained in us. That's what it's about. It's about the hustle and the grind and the money and the things. But I do think a lot of people unknowingly or subconsciously are motivated by, I don't want to fucking listen to anyone.
Yes.
I want to do things when I want to do them, how I want to do them. I don't want to have to live your life and build your life. I want to live and build mine. It's not necessarily about the stuff or the money or the things, but I think not enough of us recognize that. And it's taken me a while to recognize that's actually what I'm doing. My boss, one of my old bosses was like, you would be fucking great if you just listen to other people. I was like, I don't fucking care. I don't want to listen to other people. I don't want to be in corporate and listen to what the fuck this bullshit guy has to say over there. It's not that I'm like so set in my ways. It's just I want to surround myself with the people that I know have the same and similar viewpoints to me. And let's have that discussion. Let's listen to one another, but let's push each other and not have it be one way.
I like that. Good stuff. Good stuff. Christina Flynn.
Coach.
Yeah,
We're back. Sure. Morning Loop Reloaded here. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. John, Marty, Christina Flynn, AJ Zeglen just left the room. We had Kyle Paquette in the first hour dropping nuggets, Olympic, Paralympic guy, doing some great stuff. In a few minutes, we got In the Gym with John and Marty, bottom of the hour. We're going to rock and roll with a creator spotlight, and we're going to head over to the brand bite. But hey, guys, I have something I'm throwing on the table for us here today to talk about for a few moments. I got it at Mr. Boston. You are active in the comments today. I appreciate you. Mr. Boston's rocking and rolling here. Just actively engage with the show. And if you work for yourself, you are a slave to yourself. But if you work for someone else, then you become their slave. It's so true. Difficult for many to adapt. And listen, it's not for everyone, right? Christina, John, Marty, some folks want to go and work for someone want to go work for themselves, and we have no judgment with whatever decision you like to do. What we have judgment on is whether you hit that snooze button and not get your life going, or whether you roll over and not. So
real quick on that slave comment, I think that's one of the ideas that people miss in entrepreneurship is don't go dive into something you don't want to do, because then you are a slave to another process you don't want. If you're going to do it, monetize your passion. Then if you're a slave to your passion, there's nothing wrong with that. When you get up and you do what you love. What's that?
This was something I learned. I didn't realize in my early days as an entrepreneur, I just had a job. I just had a job working for myself. I wasn't building a business. And to me, that mindset shift was hugely valuable because I didn't realize that. I was like, it's my own business. It's all my stuff. But building a business and having a job in a business that you own is very different.
It is true. 100%. It's true. I've always wondered how people embrace hobbies. Because I'm like, if they're going to embrace a hobby, man, go make some money. Like, I'm not judging nobody with hobbies. I get the hobby stuff, but hobbies is, man, you're just putting time into something. You're not going to make some money out of it. Go make some money.
Monetize that son of a bitch. Yeah. Because when you monetize your hobby, you get to do your hobby every day. And there's so much fulfillment in that.
Yes.
Here's the thing. People don't know what their passion is, though. That's an overwhelming term. We've all found that, but we tend to ignore the fact that it's an overwhelming term to say, go find your passion. It's not just that simple. People don't know what their passion is. They don't know who their authentic self is.
There's a discovery process for sure, but obviously that's usually so many people don't know, but once you do discover it, now at least you're pointing the right direction for the next step.
Yeah.
Totally.
All right. Hey, so here, Morning Loop Reloaded. I did have a fun topic I was going to put on the table, but I'm going to put it out. I'm going to bring it up here later on this week instead, because it's International Chocolate and Peanut Butter Day, otherwise known as Halloween. I have something for you guys. I'm going to throw on the table and have some fun with you guys for a few minutes before I throw John and Marty in the gym. John, Marty, Christina, are you guys? I see the film over there as well, Christina, because I learned something about these camera things here. When you put white screens in front of cameras, it creates a foggy effect. Christina, John, Marty, are you guys scared of anything? Do you have any fears of something, like maybe heights? Do you have fears of
snakes?
Snakes. Okay, there you go. What about you, Johnny?
I think when it comes down to, it's one thing. It's a great topic because I really have looked around in my life. Like snakes used to be one of them.
Yeah.
I was like, this is bullshit. I'm not putting up with this anymore. So I faced it. I pushed into it. No, listen, I understand, brother. And it wasn't, it was like, I didn't like the fact that scared me. And so there's a lot of things that I started to lean into that scared me. And it was like, because when something happens, when you see something in a situation and you have to basically react to get away, I looked at that as a potential weakness for what I wanted with my life. And so I just started pursuing the things that scared me. Now, what scares me the most is I feel like I don't have enough time, which is something I have to manage. I can literally, but that's part of my journaling every morning is I have to make, because in the late morning, I have anxiety about not having enough time every fucking day.
Yeah. Yes.
And so when you start eliminating all these distractions like snakes or spiders, and the list can go on, people have phobias. And Marty, I wasn't picking on you. I was siding with you. At your age, I was still scared of snakes. I hadn't discovered that I needed to get this dumb shit out of my life. It was stupid. But I'd see a fucking snake and I would cribble.
Yeah.
What all that did was distract the shit out of me. If I had one right now that I think I still have a hard time getting over, but I'm close, it would be being in the water next to a huge fucking, if I fell off a cruise ship, I would be fucking flipping out. Not because I was in the water, because that big something about that big motherfucker going, all that stuff under the water moving freaks me out. I think it came from when I was a kid, we lived on a river. I was very fucking blessed. Boat. We used to ski all the time. Well, there's such a big river. It was also used for shipping. So they would send these big fucking barges. Like they would probably 300-foot barges, like just totally stacked with gravel. And you'd see them when they're empty. They're like 10, 11 feet high. When they're full, there's 6 inches sticking up out of the water. What's under my brother knew that freaked me out. So that fucker, when I was skiing, he'd see one. He would pull right up next to it. So I was safe, turn the fucking boat off, and I would have to sit in the water and fucking flip out. And that's where the whole thing started to spark. Now I've come a long ways with that. It would, I don't know that I would freak out if that happened again, but I know that's where it came from.
Oh, wow. I've never heard of that before. Christina.
Weird fucking phobia. I know.
Yeah. Tina, what are you afraid of?
I think phobias in general, yeah, they are weird. Everyone's phobia is weird. I don't have specific phobias. I'm not scared of anything in particular, but I've spent most of my life walking around afraid of everything and anxious.
Yeah.
So I think that's just why. There's no specific physical thing that I'm like, oh my God, I'm terrified of that. But I spent my whole life just being afraid of the world. So I think that's probably why. Probably the closest is ketchup. I fucking hate ketchup. I'm disgusted by it. I wouldn't say I'm afraid of it, but I can't go anywhere near it.
Is that a hate or a phobia?
I don't freak out, but I'm like, don't bring that shit near me. Like my kids, I'm like, I don't want to touch it. I won't clean a plate with it. I won't, like, if my wife eats it, I won't kiss her.
That borders on a phobia. If you won't clean a plate, that's got it on there.
It does. It's disgusting.
Love the honesty.
What I was expecting from you too.
I know.
The crazy thing with a phobia is to beat it, you've got to be able to practice it. And
I know, and I'm not doing that.
Like with snakes, Marty, I didn't have a lot of chances I had to, when the opportunity to present itself, I had to fucking work on it, which you don't see a snake every day, at least most people. And like with my current phobia ships, I don't have a lot of opportunities to be in the water with a big fucking ship going by. So there's not a lot of chances for me to work on the phobia. But I think that's part of it, is facing it and becoming one with the fact that I'm going to be okay.
So I'm scared of time and getting older, Johnny, and losing my ability to use my equipment. So how I face that fear is I just use it every single day.
There we go.
I just go and use it.
You're having a nice, vulnerable conversation, and you just had to fucking do that, huh?
That's vulnerable.
I'm
so mature of you, Keith.
Channeling my inner Rich Ingram here. But hey, so here's the point, though. It's Halloween today, and there's humans waking up on Halloween today, and they're freaked out about clowns. Scientists,
my youngest daughter is the same way. Completely flips out.
Figured out why humans are terrified of clowns. Researchers from University of South Wales surveyed almost 1,000 humans aged 18 to 77 from various countries.
I can't wait to hear this.
53.5% of respondents reported being scared of clowns to some degree. 5% said they were extremely afraid. What's interesting is that many of these fears are higher than reported other phobias. So animals, 3.5%, heights, 2.8%, flying 1.3%, blood injections or blood 3%, yet 53.5% of people are scared of clowns. 5% said they're extremely afraid of clowns. And the study, Christina, looking at you, and Lauren, I know you're listening, also found that women are more likely to fear clowns than men, and that the fear tends to decrease with age. Now, the origins of clown fear, which is this uncanny valley effect. We hear this often with AI. You look at their eyes, the clown's not looking quite human. And why? It's also exaggerated facial features conveying threat, emotional signals. But here's the key factors contributing to clown fear, team. Negative portrayals in popular culture. Like you look at Pennywise's, Stephen King's Chucky, right? The fundamental appearance, like even these non-threatening clowns like Ronald McDonald can evoke fear, right? Suggesting that there may be something inherently unsettling about clown makeup and appearance. Nation, as you're going about Halloween today, know that if you're dressing up in the funny clown outfit, you're probably scaring the fuck out of the human next to you because they just can't wrap their head around the fact that you're a clown. It has nothing to do with it, but we're just scared of clowns. Marty, John, you know.
It's my little girl, my youngest daughter is still that way. We would like if any time close to Halloween, she was like on the lookout. It was like she knew that there was going to be a clown. So it truly scared her. Like she would see it, and there's a difference between and there you can tell she was like fucking scared to death. Like that fucking that sound that made me go fucking running. Jesus Christ! Did did you just get hit by a fucking car, or did you see a clown?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yes. And I got to Mr. Boston with a comment here going, Mr. Boston, because the clown is a symbol of pedophilia. I don't know if that's the case, but I know the clowns certainly are weird looking. That's the truth. I'm not drawing. Listen, I'm laughing at it because I don't think clowns are a symbol of that, but I can see where you're coming from with that. And then back to the previous segment, Lauren is making the old head emoji with our comment about the equipment there, gentlemen.
Woman that we get to turn you off after 2 hours. Oh my goodness.
I can't even imagine.
2 hours?
She has to hear you all day.
Listen, the nutty little fella is being himself. Let him go. Let the kid alone. He's doing it.
The good thing is, Christina, is you guys get to turn me off. I love my wife gets to do the opposite of that. So there we go. Okay, listen, let's get to the in the gym segment.
That was nutty little fella stuff right there.
That was definitely nutty little fella stuff.
So many times.
That might have been your best joke.
That might have been your best one.
There we go. Just segueing, just the segue king here this morning. Okay, so listen, guys. I know that you all are going. Yesterday we talked about putting a nice outfit on to feel jacked when you go for the evening, and now I know you guys are thinking about. Lauren's commenting again, and I know you guys are thinking, "Oh, Cal, I need to lose some fat. Like, what's the best way to torch body fat?" Now we know it's about single ingredient foods and eating clean all the time. However, there could be more to that. John and Marty are going to head into the gym, and Marty's going to walk Johnny up to the camera, and they're going to have a conversation about ways to torch that fucking body fat on your body. John, Marty, let's get after it, boys.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go.
This is perfect because this is what I teach. I teach people to lose body fat without being hungry or tired. So this is like right up the gut. That's what I'm known for.
All right, so let's aim for something different. Let's not aim for the regular. You got to eat clean. You gotta.
No, I got you. I'm
more
pull some
complex.
shit out. Pull some shit out that people are not used to hearing. Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's do it. I'll let you start, and I'll chime in and add.
All right. So basically, there's two sides of the equation for losing body fat. What most people know is calorie deficit, which means not eating enough. So the body is forced to burn its own tissue. The problem is you're burning fat and muscle. That's one. You lose 10 pounds, but you feel like shit. You look in the mirror, like, God damn it, I still look terrible. That's calorie deficit. I teach the polar opposite side of the equation, which is to eat in a way where you feed the metabolism. But single ingredient foods is just a detail of that. What you need to think about to do this, to feed the metabolism, think about your metabolism as like a campfire. And most people, their fire is just this little bitty son of a bitch, a good gust of wind, it'll get blown out. Just like a fire, you have to basically feed it or put a piece of wood on it with some bit of timing, because if you wait too long, it burns out. You put too much on at the same time, it'll actually smother. So your metabolism is the same. What you have to do is use your stomach to help you understand how much wood to put on the fire, how much food to consume. So you got to eat roughly every 3 to 4 hours, because that would be like putting a piece of wood on the fire to make sure it continues to burn. Now, you don't have to eat much if you're not hungry, but when it comes down to it, is you need to make sure that you don't let yourself get hungry. You need to make sure that you don't overeat, you don't get full. And if you're not hungry, you need to make sure you eat a little something, which I always recommend a package of almonds in the pocket about every 3 to 4 hours. Those 3 rules will make an analogy to the campfire, will really help you understand how to feed. Now, I'm not even talking about changing your foods. I'm talking about just how to structure shit to get some benefit out of this. Because of course you're thinking, God damn it, he's going to tell me to remove this and remove that. And depending on the progress, you want that to be part of the equation. But without this philosophy in play, none of it matters anyway.
Yeah, I'll add 2 things to that. With your metabolism, you got to feed your metabolism. So if you're not feeding your body frequently, you're not giving your body anything to burn, which is going to essentially make your body store fat. So I had a client this morning who told me they ate twice. They've been eating twice a day.
Not enough.
And I'm like, that's not going, that ain't going to cut it. You got it. So we're just trying to get them back on track with the meal plan. But I had to break down why it's important to eat frequently throughout the day. And then another thing too, as far as your protein intake after your workout, you got that anabolic window, 30 minutes to an hour. That's also going to help your metabolism as well. So I just wanted to add those 2 along with what you said, Johnny.
Yeah, and if you're eating 2, let's use your client as an example. If you're eating 2 times a day, okay, don't worry about doing more meal prep. Just keep doing what you're doing. Just make sure that you add some sort of a healthy snack. Again, I always recommend almonds or hard-boiled eggs, even better. If you turn that 2 into a 4, that's going to completely change the game. Completely change the game. So if your meals are spread out, maybe you have breakfast and dinner, maybe you have lunch and dinner, just use those snacks so that your schedule is you're eating about every 3 to 4 hours throughout the day. You'll feel better. You'll actually start to sleep better, and you'll realize, holy shit, my waist is getting smaller.
That's all facts.
That's it.
All right. Yep. All right. I'll say this too. Now, I know everyone doesn't want to go to the gym and do their max, their 100% max, but it is important to challenge your body and be around your max. So you should definitely be doing like 1 to 3 reps in the gym too. I think that's also going to help you burn fat, because you're putting your body under a certain amount of stress. Can you lose weight without putting your body under that stress? Yes. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I thought you were done.
Oh.
Go,
okay.
finish.
I was going to say, but I feel like it's more efficient for your body to be challenged, and you'll get to your result quicker if you put it under that certain amount of stress. How you feel about that, Johnny?
So I'll challenge that. You're correct, but I'll challenge that in a way that you can get that same stimulus, that same challenge. You could say, okay, I'm like you're talking about, I'm going to max out with a single, max out with a triple. This is not for a person that's not young, or even a young person, highly dangerous. If they lose position even once, bam, there's a good possibility you can get hurt. So take that max for 10 reps. The odds of you hurting yourself at a 10 rep set, that's a max set of 10, is far less than hurting yourself with the single rep set. So keep in mind, you can challenge yourself. I challenge myself all the time with 20 reps and 30 rep sets. Mm-hmm. Those shock my body far more than doing a single or a double or a triple, which means a 1 rep, 2 rep, or 3 rep. Then doing, especially at my age, I'm much happier shocking my body in a way where I know the risk of injury is very nil. So Marty's totally correct. You got to shock the body, but just remember, you could shock the body with pretty much any rep range you choose, whether it's a small one or a big one.
That's absolutely true. But at the same time, your max and my max would probably be completely different. And I probably, if I did a triple yesterday, and I probably could go for 8 or 10 reps, but I probably I don't know. I feel like I would put myself at risk of injury at that weight doing 10 reps. So you got to use some discernment and you do want to challenge your body, but you know when something is super uncomfortable to where you can't do it. You're absolutely right there, John.
Yeah, and on that level, just to go a little further, because really what the danger comes into form breaking down. Yep. And if you're basically moving, say, like on your 3-rep set, there's only 3 reps, you're under a lot of strain, and if something happens, boom, there's a lot of weight there to pull you out of position quick to hurt you, versus that was a set of 10 or set of 15. As your technique got a little compromised, the weight's not heavy enough to just jerk you out of position and potentially hurt you. So that being said, think of it like this. You can, when your technique breaks down with a higher rep set, you can recognize it because it's coming in slower. When your technique breaks down under a max or a double or a triple, that shit happens so fast you can be put out of position and get injured before you have a chance to get your foot off the throttle.
I agree.
Great segment, guys. In the gym with Jon and Marty every single day here at 9:15 Eastern time. Fuck Bilous.
And really quick, I also want to make sure when I say challenge, I shouldn't have said challenge, Marty. I should have said, and I did say I agreed with you. I should have said, yes, I agree, but here's other ways you can do it. I think I've used the word challenge only because people tend to think if they're not lifting heavy with low reps, that they're not shocking themselves, and that's what I'm challenging.
Yep. I'm right there with you.
Yeah. Marty, you know what I appreciate about Johnny? I actually appreciate about all of us as I'm learning with you guys. We talk about intention on the show often. I love how intentional. I'm just going to be self-serving. I don't care if whoever listening right now, hell with all of you.
Uh-oh.
I love how intentional that everybody speaks in the show. Like Johnny, you speak with very much intention. Marty, you do as well. I believe I do. Christina does. And what I mean by that is that when you find that you've said something, John, because you've even called me sometimes privately, I think I said something maybe that not that I shouldn't have said, but I don't know if I clarified it properly. And I love that there's this intention. Like I'm a big fan of that, because when there's intention, there's awareness, and then the words become very meaningful. You know what I mean?
And funny enough, just so you know, Marty, that call I made to Keith was about you. And basically he was like, I don't think that was that. I don't think that was the case, blah, blah, blah. But what I really did is I really started to, it was like a discovery process of our relationship. And I realized that our relationship had gone way beyond what I was worried about. I just wasn't giving us the credit.
Got you.
Yeah, but it was awesome because I think I said something that it might have been framed the wrong way. I don't think it was framed, and it wasn't a derogatory term.
Well, I don't even think Marty knows.
No, I don't even remember.
I probably didn't even take it that way.
Well, that's exactly my point, is that I wasn't giving our relationship enough credit. And that's what I realized. Okay, this is something that I just need to realize, that this is an environment where we do what we do to bring light to different perspectives. And Marty clearly realizes that we, just like this segment, we're going back and forth, but it's brotherly love.
Yeah, it's great.
I think that's the thing about having the men's space. Yes. We can do that and understand it in a way where you might not be able to do outside of this space. So that's what makes it special. Yep.
You're so right, Marty. It's interesting because the topic I had up, and we're being Jimmy will bring Flynn up here in a quick second here. I'll bring her up now. Actually, the topic I had for our morning loop reloaded was I found a good article a couple days ago around, I think it was like 25 different things that men would have been in the past would have been embarrassed to talk about because it wasn't manly. Like it was like, oh, you're doing that. Oh, you're knitting. Oh, you're making blue collar, blue collar. But there was a period of time where my dad was like doing art stuff, Marty, like making like crafty stuff. And I was like, so as a young man growing up, I was like, what the fuck? Like, that's not what a dad should be doing. That's not what a blue collar man should be doing. He's making this craft stuff. But then as I think about it, as I'm growing up, as I'm aging in life, I'm like, that's a fucking man who's comfortable with his own mirror, being vulnerable. Back in that day, going in and making crafty stuff. You're like, really? And I remember people talking to him going, what? You're doing that, Brian? And he's like, yeah, what's wrong with that? But it's just not what you're used to. So anyways.
Well, he was just being himself, and that's what it's all about. And that's the kind of leadership that we need more of.
That's right. That's right. Hey, before we close the show off here with the crew here, not close, but work toward the last segment here, I just want to make one comment here. Mr. Boston, you've hung up for the whole show, man. You've held on for the whole show, and I know I can speak on behalf of Christina, Jon, and Marty. I appreciate you, because the show doesn't exist if you don't tune in, and the show doesn't exist if you don't tune in for a while, because this is a business. We don't just do this because we got nothing better to do. We're building a business here. That's just the frank truth. So the fact you're hanging out, you're commenting, you're engaging, I am so fucking grateful. I really am. And I've said this to privately to Marty from time to time, like it's humbling, right? People hang out with us. Like, yeah, they do. It's really cool. So yep. I'm really grateful for that. All right, let's go around the table. And Lauren's, yes, Brian Bilous needs his own Etsy page. True story, he does. All right, let's go around the table, guys. Let's start with Jimmy. Let's start with Johnny today. Highlight of today's show, Jon Anderson.
Man, I think our guest today was pretty off the charts.
Yeah.
And it was, yeah, and I just feel like we just scratched the surface with him. And what I loved about him was he laid shit out in a very simple manner, which really speaks my language.
Yes. Yeah. Kyle was fucking fire, man. Kyle was fire, dropping nuggets right from the moment he walked in. I thought we had energy. Kyle brought energy too, all the way from Ottawa. Marty, what'd you take from today's show, brother?
I love how Kyle, that was our first time talking to him, and he drank the same drink we were sipping on, you know?
Yes.
I kind of like how he said he gets up, he drinks his water, he has his morning routine, he's working out, and then he's attacking the day. That's what we preach every day. So I think it's amazing how we find these guests that fit right in with our philosophy here.
Yeah, I'm with you, Marty. Tina, what'd you get from today?
I love Kyle, of course. And I love the visualization section because I think there's something really powerful there that we talk about it in the arena of sport, but we don't really talk about it outside of peak or high performance. And I think a lot of people can really benefit from it, myself included. And as we had that segment, I was thinking to myself, like, you do this without even knowing it. If I get anxiety when I'm going to do something new I've never done before, so I'll drive there and I'll hang out there and I'll do the route and make sure that I'm comfortable with it. This is like that, but doing it visually when you're not always able to actually do that thing physically.
It's funny because you were doing it, Christina. You probably didn't even know you were doing it then, what you're saying.
Oh, totally. I did it with my kid. Like when she was starting school, she's wired like me. I was like, all right, let's go walk the way we would walk to school. Let's go think about what the day is going to be like. Let's go. This is the door you're going to go into. It just makes it so much easier.
Yeah. Not the first time walking through that door. It's always easier walking through a door the second time.
Most fascinating to me too with visualization and senses. It's hard for me not to think the same thing's happening when you have that little human growing inside you, Christina, and you're listening to tunes.
I wouldn't know. I've never had a little human growing inside me.
Yeah, no, but I'm just talking to I'm talking to a female, right? So yes, I know you haven't, but I'm talking just rhetorically that like to a female that have a human growing in them and they got the music playing and the things that the humans, like the little humans hearing, you're wondering like, okay, is the human coming out as an Eminem fan because listen to Eminem my whole life? You know what I mean? Like just those. It's like,
it's super interesting. I think a lot of moms there's a term they use called nesting, and a lot of it I think is that it's the visualization, it's preparing the environment. It's like taking away something that you can't prep for it because it's so unplanned. You can't whatever plan you have for childbirth, it's going out the door. I promise you. But to be able to do visualization around these things, you can put that concept to anything that's really unfamiliar and just unknown.
Yeah, Mr. Boston, I played Viking music to mommy's womb. And Mr. Boston, I saw your comment on Eminem. No, I don't think Eminem went to Epstein's Island 63 times. I can't believe that. I can't believe that because if I believe that, Mr. Boston, you're going to crush my entire life. I'm still struggling with the fact that Eminem's going to be a fucking grandpa. So that myself is just, I'm wrapping my head around. But hey, today's show, I had an idea has come out of today's show that I think we've got to lean into as time goes on here, guys. We had Daniel Intronelli yesterday. What a great guest yesterday. Daniel Paquette today. I'm sorry, Kyle Paquette today with AJ's Mindfield. I feel like this. We might need to have a men's roundtable, Christina, coming up here, where we throw the whole show out. We throw the whole structure of the show out the window, and we have a roundtable with some topics, right? Because there's some things, there's some common themes coming up, and that between AJ and Kyle and Daniel and like Mike McQuillan, I think we could probably have some good men's chats that are brewing that maybe could be unscripted and so forth. I don't know. Just thinking aloud with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like a red talk table or red table talk,
something like that. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. All right, okay, let's get to the community corner segment here of the show here. John, I know Marty's got to rock and roll. Johnny's got to rock and roll. You guys have yourselves a good one. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
You got it.
Have a great day.
Sounds good.
Have
a good one.
Johnny, see you guys.
See you guys.
See y'all.
Beautiful. Okay, so Keith and Christina are sticking around here for the community corner segment, and I have a feeling that this person might know we're doing this about them because I hit the old connection request and he just accepted it. So maybe he's like watching what's happening right now, Christina. I don't know, but
I don't know. Maybe he's just like us and he's obsessed with LinkedIn, and if a connection request comes through, he accepts it.
All right, so today we are going to feature a mental health advocate. This creator shares his personal journey with anxiety. See, I have a camera over there. there, but the camera apparently just the battery died. And for me to go over there, I got on.
You learned a lesson one day that it doesn't go 2 hours, apparently.
It's true. Yeah. And I had a different camera for today's show, but as I was telling you, I think my mouth wasn't matching. So I put a different up one today. So we're going to figure it out. But anyways, I'm going to look over here at this camera right there, Jimmy. This creator shares his personal journey with anxiety, helping men open up about mental health in a world where silence is often the norm. He's the panic attack professional. Oh, I like that, Christina. With raw honesty and resilience, he transforms his struggles with anxiety into a message of hope and understanding for others. He's a voice for vulnerability. I like that too. Yes. Through his online presence, he encourages men to speak openly about their mental health. He's clearly already a business athlete, Christina. Challenging stigmas and building a supportive community. Christina, let's get into this. Jimmy, let's get the drums rolling, man. Today's Creator Spotlight for Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. International Chocolate and Peanut Butter Day, which is otherwise known as Halloween. It is going to be today. Tom Harmon. Yes, Tom is the panic attack professional, helping men talk about anxiety in a world where pouring yourself a nightly cocktail is more acceptable than therapy. I don't know about that, Tom, over my world, but I love your attitude about helping men talk about anxiety in a world out there. Christina, why are we featuring Tom Harmon today for Mornings in the Lab's Creator Spotlight? Let's pull him up on the screen for us today.
So Tom came to us through our team member, Melissa, and she passed him along saying, I think he's a great candidate.
Yes.
And when I checked out his profile, I was like, oh my God, yes, he's a great candidate. One, he's talking about something that not many people talk about. There's a lot of conversation around mental health and mental illness. Panic attacks specifically are a very interesting thing that we don't really know that much about. I'll tell you who does know a lot about it. It's people that have had panic attacks, and I'm one of them. And they're horrendous. They're the worst thing. You genuinely feel like you're dying or you're losing your mind. It manifests differently for everyone. But I think what he's doing is he's drawing attention to a topic within a very important topic that's specific, and that folks that do experience that or experience it but didn't know that was, it can be really helpful to be able to know, one, that you're not alone, and two, that there's other people that are going through this and there's ways around it. There's ways to get through it. I think Tom is an example of somebody who has taken something that's not that great to experience and turned it into something really beautiful. He's from the place I was born, Kitchener, Ontario, Canada. And I love his little character work that he does here, and his big brain on the Jeep or whatever it is in his logo. I just think it's fun, it's engaging, it's colorful, and yet it's talking about something really serious.
I saw this one yesterday. This one moved me, Christina. His post yesterday, about 27 days after our wedding, he was gone. And he talks about his dad passing. I got to say, when Melissa introduced us to Tom, I saw the comment and I did my own little research into him. I was like, this dude is a business athlete. Leading into mental anxiety and mental health the way he's doing it, I got nothing but props and respect for that. Because not many men do this. So for somebody to say, you know what, I, as a man, am going to lead this conversation, Christina, I am going to lead this charge through my own vulnerabilities. I'm just going to do this. I don't have any more words for that because it takes a lot of courage to do that, Christina. It takes a lot of courage to do that in 2024. And just to be as vulnerable as he is over on LinkedIn, I got props. So Tom Harmon, I invite you on behalf of Christina, myself, Marty, Jon, love to have you on the lab. Love to have you tell your story. Talk about the no fluff, the no vague advice, the no picking apart your childhood. Get into maybe somebody in your orbit you want to celebrate as a creator spotlight. But Tom, love to have you here and get to know you and celebrate what you do every single day, helping men overcome mental anxiety. Christina.
Congrats, Tom. We love it. I hope you keep it up. We'd love to have you on the show. And yeah, definitely let us know if there's anyone else in your world that is doing amazing work similarly, and we can spotlight them too.
Let's do that. All right, Jimmy. So we're going to pivot to the last number of minutes here. We're going to wrap up our show here with the business and branding segment with Christina and Keith here. We're going to talk about visualization in business. And I know that we talked about it a little bit with AJ earlier today, but let's break down the 5 foundations most entrepreneurs skip because they're too busy chasing likes instead of building legacy. And I want to talk about how entrepreneurs and business leaders can use visualization in building your empire as a weapon. But before we go there, let's go back to something you said a few minutes ago when the boys are still on stage about how you inadvertently have been using visualization in your life with your with your kids and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Christina, why have you maybe had challenges with using visualization in business on a day-to-day basis with business?
I think, and full disclosure, the title does not match what the description is for this. So ignore the foundations. We're going to talk visualization.
Sure.
Let's just roll with that. Why has it been a struggle? I think in
It's less
part
for you. I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's because, and I meant to ask this, but is it because it's not tangible for you and you can't maybe, is it the grayness that makes it uncomfortable for you, Christina?
No, I think it's taken me a long time to learn about the brain and learn about my
Mm,
brain and
mm,
understand the value of these things. We've talked about this. Like I'm a
mm.
why person. I normally the aha moments for me come when I understand what's happening biophysically or from a neuroscience perspective. That really resonates with me. And so when I've been able to look into things like rewiring and things like visualization from that perspective, it does seem really tangible. But previously, yeah. And I always thought I've done it before. I've done it my whole life playing ball, like you're taught. You're
Mhm.
going to take the free throw 1,000, 10,000, a million times in your mind before you're actually going to get into a game and take the free throw. So I get it, but I never knew its context outside of sport. And I think that was something new for me.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay. So let's put visualization over there. And I want to keep talking with you on the business side of it because I like to equate it to feelings. And like I said, you as a mother who's you only got a few years of kids' feelings underneath your belt. I'm telling you, man, as those kids keep getting older, I found it got easier to feel with business because she's only out September. I know what it feels like. And then you equate to what has to happen in business and start getting into the fourth quarter of the year. And I think you're going to
Yeah.
find it real powerful as that continues. You're like, oh, I got to take the kids to swimming again or whatever. Like these kids, like, and these feelings equate to moments at work. And I think that's when the magic starts happening, Christina.
Yeah, and I want to stick here. I don't want to go to the foundations conversation. I think this is a good conversation because you come by it naturally, and I'd love
Very
to
naturally come.
explore. Yeah, like one, when did you first realize? I feel like you had a little bit of an aha moment on the show today, but when did you first realize that is what you were doing, and that was a technique that you were using, and why do you think that's something that you leaned on?
It's actually funny because AJ brought it up. I think I created some awareness while I was training for Kilimanjaro. I certainly used visualization through my divorce.
Mhm.
I certainly used visualization through selling the company, ICUC, these little experiences I had, and these little moments along the way. Like I never forget the one dinner conversation I had with a friend in New York City with my business partner. And he said, Keith, to sell the business, you got to solve the 1,000 piece puzzle, not 900 pieces, it's 1,000 pieces. And if you solve all 199 pieces, but you can't get the last one, you're not going to get the check. Right. So that was really meaningful for me, Christina, because then in my mind, I'm like, okay, I need to find 1,000 pieces visually and then piece them all together. And I found it easy. I don't want to
What does
downplay
that mean? Like, you need to find I think I know what you're talking about, but
I can just kind
explore
of
this with us. Like,
see
what do you mean?
it.
What does a 1,000-piece puzzle mean in the context of business, and what does solving that puzzle
Yeah,
mean?
I knew that. Okay, so for me, in order for me to convince you to give me a check to buy my business, I had to have all my I's dotted and T's crossed. So I had to anticipate the kind of questions you were going to ask. So anticipating the questions, visualization to me, because then to me, it's anticipating going into a meeting either on a phone call or in a boardroom, and you're going to ask me that question. So if we work backwards from that, okay, Christina's going to ask me some questions. Okay, so they're not just going to happen like they don't just come out of thin air.
Mhm,
So then I go back from that. Okay, then I might be on a call with her, or I might be on a camera with her, which means
mhm,
that I'm going to look into the light so she can connect with me. So I take that moment and I literally walk it back in my head. And then I
mhm.
go, okay, it's going to happen in September. That means in September. Okay, I know my kids are going back to school. I know my kid's going to start playing hockey around there. That second week of September feels this way. And I literally take that moment, Christina, and I rip it apart and I actually paint it as art in my head. And I do it every single day right now as we're building a business right now.
Mhm,
I can see, I feel like I can see Monday coming around the corner because I
mhm.
know what things I've accomplished by Monday right now. Like in my
That's
head, I
super
know what I've
interesting.
accomplished by Monday. Like I know
Yeah.
when Monday comes, I can see what's going to be on LinkedIn already. I can see things that are going to be done because I don't.
I like what you're talking about a lot because I think you're talking about it from two perspectives. One is like this larger vision. And
Mm,
as an entrepreneur, we do have to be visionaries because a lot of
yes.
times we have an idea and we see a problem and we have a thesis around the solution to
Yes.
that problem, but then executing against that to bring it all together and shift and change and adapt as you have to do to get
Yes.
there is a very different thing. The other side that you're talking about is related to like day to day. And I think when I that resonated with me because I definitely don't do that. I There's that balance of like people talk about being present and in the moment. And
Yes.
now we're talking about but visualize it ahead of time. What I'm hearing you say is actually being present and in the moment is easier when I'm visualizing it ahead of time because then I can know
Yes.
what it's going to feel like. I kind of know
Yes.
what's going to happen and I can prepare accordingly to that. Whereas I'm like, it'll happen, like we'll deal with it when we get there.
I like working towards feeling like it's already accomplished instead of working towards what I need to accomplish. It's bizarre to me. Like I even used it on the example of the show here. I often think about what it's going to feel like when I'm done my run
Hmm.
instead of what it's like going through it because I know how much I love the feeling of when I'm done. Oh my
Hmm.
god, I love that. So we talk about chasing the feeling.
Right.
Right. So I've created the awareness and I just lean into it and I talk in my head about it, going, okay, I know how it's going to feel because it feels great. I've done it so many times over and over. And that
Hmm.
feels like, so I guess it's a skill set that I take for granted. That's why when I have these conversations with AJ, I'm like, yeah, I do that. Because he's right. When I trained for Kilimanjaro, Christina, I went to
Hmm.
the gym. I wore all my stuff. Like I wore my hiking stuff in the gym. I was walking up the treadmill. I wore my
Yeah.
boots. Like I went as if I was doing the exact trek out on the mountain, but in the gym.
Interesting.
And I had hockey players and people going, "What are you doing?" I go, "I'm practicing for my experience." Because to me, why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. And
Because you're going to space. If you're going to space, like think about it, you're going to go to
you
space.
would train.
You would get into a cap. You would train for every possible.
Pilots do it too. Pilots have to
Yes.
do X number of tests, X number of every X number of months, and they have to get in a simulator and they have to do the flying.
Is that not visualization?
It's 100%. In that case, I don't know technically, like
No,
scientifically, where that
but it
ladders
is.
up
I'm
because
just
you're actually doing
yes.
there's a physical nature to it, whereas like versus just sitting there and doing it. But I would love to explore a little bit more about the different kinds of visualization, like a simulation or
Yes.
a training versus sitting there in like more of a meditative state, which
Yes.
I'm probably just assuming. But I think it's a really good point I've never really thought of. And I don't know. I think it's really powerful. And I know that I've talked to coaches that I've had, like self-worth coaches, for example. I
Yes.
have a self-worth coach, and she talks about oftentimes we discuss like manifestation, which has a
Yes.
real bad rap. There's a lot of science behind manifestation, and it doesn't come down to just writing something down and saying it over and over and over and over again in your mind, which is what kind of manifestation has become known as. Instead, it's very much so around evoking the emotions, evoking the feelings that come with, okay, so if you want to work on confidence and worth and value, great. Before I do a meditation, I write down an example of like when I felt confident, when I felt worthy, when I felt valuable. And that's what I'm visualizing. I'm visualizing those moments and the emotions and the experience that it was because I'm then going to evoke what's necessary from a biophysical perspective in order to actually make that change. Am I making sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
So that's really critical. The feeling of it, it's not just the words, it's actually evoking the feeling.
I think the quicker you can learn how to embrace that feeling, the quicker you can learn how to embrace visualization. And again,
Hmm.
I think it was something I really loved leaning into back when I was building ICUC. Was with my team as every single quarter acting as if the quarter had already happened. I think the biggest mistake entrepreneurs make is working towards what they think they're going to do instead of reframe the words. What have you accomplished? Oh,
So use that in the context of we often talk about business planning and KPIs. How are
yes.
those two things different for you?
Explain, elaborate on your question.
So if you've ever worked in a corporate environment, and startups can be different, me too, but you sit down and it's planning time. And there's a period of time throughout the year where you all sit down and you write out your objectives, strategies, and tactics, and you go at it. What you're saying, and I've heard you say this before, KPIs are different and OKRs are different, of course, but those are very like specific ways to approach this that you don't really abide by. You use very different measurements or very different practice in order to get to that. And I think what you're saying is that it's really like this visualization tactic. So tell me a little bit about that for you.
Yeah. So I line up a big goal and then pull levers along the way to get to that big goal. And for me, it's less about KPIs and OKRs or ORKs or ABCD. Exactly. Some would say it's maybe the burn the boats mentality, but no, there's the big goal and we have to find a way to get there. And along the way, we're going to pull levers. We're going to do more over here and do less over here. And we missed the deadline. No, you didn't miss the deadline because the goal's over there. Oh, no, there's no deadlines, are just milestones to help us feel a certain way to get towards and make sure we're going in the right direction. So I think deadlines create artificial urgency. I think if we all have our mind, that's why I love or hate. That's why I like how Elon sets these goals that most of the time are unachievable. Yep. But he sets them because if we don't set them, we don't think we can try to achieve them.
And because maybe that's the difference. Maybe that's the difference.
And I think that's something maybe you've gotten used to or not used to working with me, is that I'm always setting something ridiculously ambitious. You're probably thinking that's not going to happen. Well, no, but if I don't set it that way, then we're never going to think that way.
And maybe it comes down to the confidence to even visualize that audaciously. Like, do you think it's going to happen? Maybe not, but I'm confident enough that I'm going to get it as fucking close as possible. And if anyone's going to do it, I'm going to do it. That's a real like strength in knowing your capabilities. And what I'm hearing where I'm missing the mark, which is not shocking to anyone, is there's a lack of confidence to even dream that big, because you're like, I don't know, can I? And if I put everything in this basket, what happens if I don't? Yes.
I have a piece I'm hoping to drop today as we work toward wrapping up our segment here, but I have a piece dropping today which asks the question, what if you succeeded? Because often we're always, what if I fail? No, but what if you succeeded? I know it's so cliche, but what if you succeed?
No, it's real. The fear associated with success is real.
Do you ever, because I do this, do you ever just pause sometimes and ask what it must be like working at SpaceX, where their mission is to get people to Mars? Just think about that for a second. Like, you wake up in the morning, oh, what's your purpose? I'm going to help people get to Mars. That's never going to happen. No, that's why I'm fucking getting up right now. I'm getting people. Like most humans can't connect that because we've never been to Mars. Most not going to go to Mars. Yet there's humans. There's 10,000 people waking up there in Austin, Texas, waking up every single day going, we're getting human beings to Mars. That to me is the ultimate in visualization, though, Christina, because they all believe it and have the confidence to believe it. That's powerful.
And aren't blocked by the fear of everything that could happen, I think, too.
Powerful.
Like, to have that confidence in yourself and in the team to be like, no, I'm the smartest motherfucker.
Yes.
I work at SpaceX. I am a ridiculous human being. And I'm going to, not only am I going to say we're going to do this, but we're going to do it. And being okay with how many spaceships did he crash before he was able to catch that one.
That's right. It's exactly right.
I don't know. And being okay with that and having the confidence and having, of course, the resources is a different thing. But this is really interesting to me. It's eye-opening.
To me, the learning for visualization for business and branding is, I think what I'm even learning from you is try to find a way not to be afraid to find confidence in it, right? Not find a way to be confident with visualizing. trying to find a way to be confident with a big audacious goal that maybe you've never given yourself permission to have confidence around before. I don't know, but
I'm doing it one step further. I'm visualizing confidence. That's what I'm working on with my self-work coach. Is I'm visualizing confidence. I'm visualizing self-worth. I'm visualizing self-value, because those are tenets that I struggle with. And once I get those more on track, things related to how do you apply that confidence and in what setting becomes a little bit easier.
Yeah. Visualization is awesome. I got to be honest. The conversation with AJ has created a lot more awareness with me about it. And I think I want to talk more about it with our team.
And our creator spotlight yesterday, Maya.
Right? Yes.
Maya Ratura, like she's doing that visualization work too. She's first ever Nike mental fitness trainer. This is just the beginning of these conversations. It's been going on a long time. I won't claim we're fucking
the mind will kill you or the mind will power you. Nation, we're going to get out of here. Keith and Christina are going to get out of here for the day. Jimmy, thanks for controlling the buttons for us today. Mr. Boston, again, I want to thank you for hanging out with us all show. A lot of props for that. A lot of great comments. Dude, I couldn't get to all your comments, and I know you know that, but I appreciate everything you threw up there on the feeds. Lauren, baby, thanks for hanging out with us this morning as well. Who else we got here today?
Jon Duggan. We got
good to see you, John. I connected with you on LinkedIn, John. Jack Duggan. I connected, so thank you for that. And of course, our creator spotlight. Who's it? Tom, right? Tom Ham?
Yep, Tom Ham. Kitchener, Ontario native.
There you go. All right, let's get out of here, nation. We're back tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be fun. I met our guest. He's from New York City. So anything you think about a New Yorker, I can guarantee you it's going to be on the show tomorrow. And there might be a chance, Flynn, that this guy might end up being part of the circus. I don't know, because I was like, who are you? Oh, and he's a kidney cancer survivor.
Wow. Incredible.
Tom Fontana tomorrow morning in the lab with Keith and friends.
No, Joe Fontana.
Oh yeah, not Tom Ham, Joe Fontana.
Oh good, I love it. Bye, y'all.
Joe Fontana. We'll see you guys tomorrow. See you, Jimmy. See you, Christina.